For postmortem on the legislative session, Senator Amy Grady stops by. We'll also talk to Delegate Elliott Pritt, Stephen Allen Adams in studio, and kiss me, I'm Irish. It's MetroNews Talkline. We're underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded.
We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the MetroNews Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is MetroNews Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set line up link. Activated telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Good morning. We're in the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave and Charleston along with TJ. We're both in the same studios this morning. We're going to be here all week with the boys basketball state tournament underway. We'll get into that a little bit later on. Stephen Allen Adams in studio. Again, Amy Grady, Delegate Pritt will join us. Bryan Hughes, you can blame him if you're having trouble in the snow this morning. JB Akers also stops by. We got a lot to get to this morning as we recap and continue our postmortem on the legislative session. You can be part of the show. Give us a call, 800-765-TALK, or text the show at 304-TALK-304. Ethan Collins is our radio producer. If you're joining us on one of our great radio affiliates across the state, or if you're watching on the MetroNews TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube, Jake Link is handling the video stream. All right, we've had a couple of days to decompress, maybe even decompose a little bit after the legislative session wrapped up on Saturday night. Stephen Allen Adams covered all 60 days of the legislature. He joins us in the Encova Insurance Studios here in Charleston. Forgot to say good morning to TJ. TJ, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Just diving right in there.
I missed one day, and he already is just,
Well, we dragged Steve. Stephen came in for the local show on our affiliate on WCHS. We said, hey, stick around. So he did.
We like to draft people here.
And I said I was more than happy to. Oh, hold on. There we go. I just pushed my button. Hey, mic check 1 2. There you go. Yeah.
It's our first day in radio.
Well,
Steve.
I mean,
Just
we're all still shell shocked from the end of session. Like it's like when you come home from a battle, And, you got to come back to real life, put on civilian clothes. I've been in a suit for like 5 days each week for like several weeks and try to reacclimate the civilian life. So we're getting there. You got to learn how to push the buttons again. I get it.
Want to specifically dig down on the end of the session, that final hour, Rayleigh's Law, all the above. But your overall impression of the entire 60-day session was what?
Tame. Tame is the way I would put it. I mean, yeah, obviously during session, different things happen, different debates happen, that sort of stuff. But, I mean, it stayed, I think, relatively calm, maybe even lackluster. I mean, the House obviously had a lot of success with pushing their jobs first agenda. Didn't get everything they wanted, certainly didn't get Team West Virginia. I think we all saw a lot of benefits in that. I talked to Delegate Clay Riley about that. He's not really fazed by it. He's going to tweak it. He's going to bring it back next year. But otherwise, they got a lot of their agenda items through, which will be good for economic development. But by themselves, they're kind of little one-hitters, as I think you've said, TJ, and Dave. But I mean, they're definitely altogether things that'll be helpful, but not stuff that's going to knock you over. We got a tax cut, 5%. I don't know if your average person out there really knows that they have felt the impact of the previous tax cuts to where they feel like they're going to feel the impact of the 5%, but we'll see. All sorts of little things we could go through, but I think they kept it relatively tame. We're heading into an election year. In fact, they all have to start campaigning because we got month and a half till the May primaries? I mean, yeah, so I think they kept it about as tame as they could. Some of these things will be helpful to West Virginians, but ultimately nothing too controversial until the last 45 minutes.
Is it disappointing to you, because it is to me, that the state of West Virginia is willing to use its police powers as granted under the U.S. Constitution to tell me I can't buy a bag of Doritos, but they're not willing to go after child abusers with Rayleigh's Law?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where the priorities I don't quite understand. As a reporter, I don't want to be put in a position where I'm advocating. I'm watching these bills just like you guys are. But when you get down to what Rayleigh's law specifically did and does, I don't know that I quite understand some of the pushback on it. I definitely don't understand the pushback from homeschool families when just point blank, and I can send me your emails, I will probably ignore them. But this did not affect homeschool families at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. It only had an impact. And by the way, I've heard the arguments. I've heard the arguments from different people. Okay, so Rayleigh's law dealt with CPS investigations. If there's a pending investigation initiated, say, by a mandatory reporter, a teacher, or whatnot, and that parent tries to pull their kid out of public school to put them into homeschool, there's a pause on that until that claim is substantiated. If it's not substantiated within 10 days, at least the way it came over from the Senate, then you can homeschool your child. No harm, no foul. That's all it did. It's very, very, very simple. And some of the arguments against it were in the case of the young lady who died, the 8-year-old girl, Rayleigh, that the law is named for. They make the argument all the time that's like, well, she wasn't being pulled out to be homeschooled. She was just basically truant. Okay, I don't know if that's an argument against this bill. I've heard the other argument about, CPS really dropped the ball. Well, we know CPS drops the ball. But that still doesn't really explain why we couldn't do this bill that's now passed twice out of the House. And now, obviously, the Senate had to work on it hardcore, but the Senate got it over the finish line, too. Could have been taken up at any point during the day Saturday. Wasn't taken up to the last 45 minutes. By then, had so many amendments. It's crazy. The parliamentary procedure on it was crazy. I don't understand why that went the way it did.
Can I clarify one thing? Stephen, as an objective reporter, some lawmakers have said they didn't get that bill till like 9:30 that night. I disagree with that. Am I right or wrong?
Wrong. Flat out wrong.
I'm wrong or they're wrong?
They're wrong. They're absolutely wrong. They would have had it Friday night, actually, once the Senate had done it, except that everybody was already gone. So they had it first thing from the Senate clerk's office to the House. They had it first thing between 9 and 10 a.m. that morning. So, and again, look, they sometimes push bills that are obviously have a lot of that are going to take some time to work through. They push them back to later. That's not unusual at all. But they could have taken up at any point, taken that message up, and just didn't.
Let me speculate here for just a second. If they bring that up Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, given what happened in the last 45 minutes, could that have potentially derailed the entire day?
Potentially.
And then you get nothing else done.
Yeah. It's a calendar management issue. It's a calendar management issue for trying to deal with things you have to get done. And of course, also keep in mind, while they were debating
if Roger Henshaw knows it's going to be an S show, if he brings this bill to the floor at 10 o'clock Saturday morning, is that why you push that off and go, I know what's come. I know what's going to happen here. We've got to get these things done first.
Yeah, but the point I was also going to make, though, is while they were debating Rayleigh's law, on the Senate side, you had them debating E-Verify, which they ultimately did amend to make a little bit better, Senator Robbie Morris's amendment. But because they were debating Rayleigh's law up until 3 minutes to midnight, they couldn't take up, the House couldn't take up the message from the Senate on E-Verify, and E-Verify dies.
TJ's very disappointed about that, by the way.
Oh, I'm very disappointed. I will say this, though. Morris's amendment, I'm okay with that. And what that would have done, it would have been public entities.
Yes.
So if the state of West Virginia wants to mandate E-Verify on a government entity, all right, fine. It took private companies, whether they're publicly traded or privately owned, completely out of the mix. I'm fine. Move on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it wasn't a bad amendment, but I do believe that there were some that didn't want that bill at all. So, in a way, Rayleigh's law died, so E-Verify and other bills could die. I mean, I think the Democratic Party put out a press release yesterday talking about other things that died, such as the severance tax cut, something that I didn't know the Democrats wanted, but apparently the Democrats wanted it. There's other things that obviously didn't make it over the finish line, but Rayleigh's law is going to be remembered, especially for Delegate Fluharty's speech and all the shenanigans.
Stephen Allen Adams joining us in studio this morning, Ogden newspapers, Capitol reporter and columnist. this bill has come forward before, as you mentioned. It's passed the House before. In fact, some of those who spoke against it Saturday night voted for it when it was wrapped into another larger bill last year. But why did it take on a life of its own this year? Why did it become the thing?
I think, look, when you're counting down, you start from day one, you end at midnight on day 60, everything, it's a countdown from that point on. So I think for it to get that much attention, keep in mind, I mean, it's never come out of the Senate. It's passed twice in the House, goes to the Senate and dies. For Senator Amy Grady, who you all will talk to here in a little bit, to be able to introduce it as a standalone bill, did it with Joey Garcia, a Democrat, bipartisan. Of course, gets locked up in Senate Health Committee. There are reasons for that. Rumor has it that Denise Morrissey, the First Lady, had put pressure on it. But to get it amended into something else on the Senate floor, to override a germaneness issue on the amendment to the amendment, then to overrule the ruling of the chair, who was going to throughout the whole thing, in order to get that across the finish line, get it out of the Senate. It should have passed the House because it passed the House before. So the Senate had to do the heavy lift on it this year, and ultimately they did Friday before the end of session. But I think that's why it's captured the attention, because I do think there's a lot of people that want it. There's a lot of people that don't understand the vitriol from others on it that seems to be by a very small and very zealous group of people, and I don't even know that it represents the whole homeschool community. It's just crazy.
I don't think it represents the entire homeschool community. I think it represents a small minority. I think some homeschool advocates would say they like it because otherwise you're allowing criminals to pose as homeschool parents, impersonate homeschool parents that do it right. As I talk to people on this, Stephen, you know, most of the time we talk about the factions in the Senate. We talk about the caucus there or lack thereof and how they're not coalesced around anything. I hear the Republican caucus in the House is very upset over this, and they're split on this. Have you heard similar, if at all? What are you hearing?
Yeah, no, I think that's true. You could tell that by some of the votes, especially if you look at the vote to try to move this up faster that Delegate Elliott tried to do. Mm-hmm. That was very narrow. And it's almost 50-50. Yeah, this is going to be a problem for their caucus going forward, and it's also going to create distrust. I mean, yeah, the Democrats are a super minority in the House, but I think for a long time they've had a lot of trust and respect for House Speaker Roger Hanshaw, and I do think there is some confusion why this got away from the Speaker, from House leadership, that as near as I can tell we're for it. So there's a lot of confusion, and I think that's going to breed some distrust. And I don't think they're going to be as trustful of House Speaker Hanshaw going forward.
Let me throw this out at you, Stephen. Our role in all this. You mentioned it was a lackluster session. Nothing knock your socks off. There weren't any huge controversies. There was some machine gun talk, some cabaret talk. It was the perfect storm for this bill. It got a lot of attention because there were other things not getting a lot of attention, which put it in the spotlight, which gave Delegate Fluharty, Senator Grady, those people who were supporting this, ample time to talk about it and magnify it. And I think that played a role in this taking on. If there were other things going on, if there were vaccine mandates, if we were banning, pepperoni rolls, which we may or may not have done, I'm not sure.
That died.
But if those things captured people's attention, it would have flown under the radar. Maybe a few homeschoolers get upset. Maybe it passes without a lot of fanfare. But because there was attention on it, that changes that variable changes the discussion.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense for sure. Yeah, a lot of the and I can say this in hindsight now that we're past it, a lot of the crazier things that got attention obviously died. Machine gun bill got a lot of attention. It fizzled out. Cabaret fizzled out. Banning pepperoni rolls got locked up in rules. Never coming out again. There's a lot of things that capture the attention during the session, which is what happens. I mean, we're all trying to cover it, and lawmakers.
Those were momentary.
Yeah, lawmakers complain all the time that well, you don't cover the bills that pass 34-0 or 100-0, and well, I do if you talk about them. Most of the time, they don't even talk about them. They don't want to get mad at me. I think you're right in regards to the drama on Rayleigh's.
I take your point, but they can't make media the scapegoat on this thing. Even
if
they
no,
try.
I'm just saying that's a variable that led to this thing taking on its own life here.
Hey, let me ask you though, on the food dye bill, I'll get it right in a second. They got locked up in rules. I heard, and you know how the Capitol is, better to lock it up in rules than to allow the bill to be changed and take your chances in federal court than to see all of the exemptions that came out of Senate Judiciary around Mountain Dew and all these other things. You have a thought one way or the other on that?
I mean, it looked bad. I mean, if you're going to do it, do it. I mean, if you're going to do these bans on food dyes and additives and all this sort of stuff, sugary drinks, do it. Like, the carve-outs once you started to learn what the carve-outs were, I'm like, then why even have the bill? Like, other than, I guess, to appease the Maha crowd that the vocal, but I think also minority Maha crowd in this state and in this nation. I mean, there was no other reason to do that. It looked bad. So I think somebody probably had the smart move. Like, if you're going to Christmas tree it with a bunch of exceptions, then let's put in rules and leave it alone. There's still a law on the books now that's obviously under litigation. So
I'm going to start bootlegging out of Boyd County, Kentucky. That's what I'm going to do with Doritos and all these other things. So
I'm just getting my age-verified naked Doritos. All right, Stephen Allen Adams, the session. You survived another session, mayor of the press room. Well done.
Yeah, now I'm going back to a lonely press room. Nobody else is going to be there.
Nobody hangs out with you outside of, January and February.
Just Phil Kabler.
Just Phil.
But that's quiet. I would embrace that. Quiet.
I got to tell you, it was nice to have a full press room, especially on day 60. It's nice to see people sending reporters to cover it. I mean, it's always super exciting. So I miss my fellow media compatriots.
Some younger reporters. Nice to see some young people are stepping into the
Yeah.
They keep getting younger, Stephen. We
stay the same age.
We stay the same age, buddy. That's right. Hey, appreciate it. Great work during the 6-day session. We appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys.
Stephen Allen Adams, Ogden Newspapers. You can read his work. You can read his work all over the state of West Virginia. Your thoughts coming up. Amy Grady joins us bottom of the hour. This is Talkline from the Kanawha Insurance Studios.
For over 30 years, High Technology Foundation has been committed to building a stronger West Virginia. Our mission, economic diversification. By fostering innovation and supporting tech initiatives, we pave the way for a brighter future. From cutting-edge research to tech-driven solutions, we're transforming the landscape. Join us in creating opportunities and driving progress. Let's build a diverse economy together. Visit WVHTF.org. High Technology Foundation, shaping West Virginia's future.
Looking for a career that truly matters? Healthcare offers stability, great benefits, and careers that are in demand right now. From patient care to technology and support roles, healthcare careers offer flexibility and opportunity. Not sure where you fit? Take the quick healthcare career quiz at explorehealthcareerswv.com. Discover the path that's right for you. Healthcare careers, where passion meets purpose.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
At the Health Plan, we are here for you, and we have been one of the most trusted carriers for over 40 years. Headquartered right here in West Virginia, providing exceptional health coverage and local customer service.
The Health Plan, we are here for you.
Every day in West Virginia, we play for something bigger.
As a mom, I play for her education.
I play because it helps provide care for the ones who care for us.
I play to help keep our parks beautiful.
Why I play? Because every play supports West Virginia's future, our students, our seniors, and our state parks. For 40 years, proceeds from the West Virginia Lottery have totaled nearly $13.7 billion. I play. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
West Virginia Natural Gas keeps energy affordable and our state competitive for growth. Producing and using more of our reliable, homegrown energy helps stabilize prices for families and small businesses. Natural gas already supports more than 73,000 West Virginia jobs and generates billions for our economy. Investing in West Virginia natural gas means affordability, growth, and a stronger nation. Natural gas, affordable, reliable, American.
This message is brought to you by the Gas and Oil Association of West Virginia.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Across West Virginia, hospitals are always here, healing, helping, and standing strong for our communities. Hospitals save lives and build livelihoods. They're among our largest employers, with a passionate workforce of 54,000 West Virginians. Hospitals are economic drivers, contributing close to $17 billion to our state's economy and working to ensure access to care for all. From life-saving moments to wellness support, West Virginia hospitals keep our state healthy, our families strong, and our future bright.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Kanawha Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All-new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All-new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Kanawha Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on MetroNews Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
When you choose CityNet, you are choosing a 100% West Virginia-owned internet provider with local support, no call centers, no runaround, just fast, dependable fiber internet backed by people who live and work right here. Plus, new residential customers can get 50% off any internet plan for a year. Visit CityNet.net today. A couple of texts here before the bottom of the hour. I'm very disappointed about changing the hours for public school. Not that they were trying to change days, but that they reduced the amount of time educational hours in the classroom. In a state with the least educated people, we reduced education hours. We'll talk to Senator Amy Grady. She chairs the Education Committee. She's going to join us a couple of minutes from now. We'll ask her about that. Rayleigh's Law. She was very passionate about trying to get that through. We'll get into that coming up a couple of minutes from now. The two of you have been extremely naive to think that additives and artificial colors are healthy. I love taking advice from individuals that are super jacked and in shape like the two of you are. Do you know that companies use additives and artificial colors, get subsidies from the government? How do you think those additives and artificial dyes got approved for human consumption in the first place? The vast majority of Americans would not want these things in their food if they actually knew what it does to your health. Here's a little secret. I eat nothing but organic, and look how that's worked out for me.
What? Eat what you want. Eat what you want. I'm not saying, why should the government decide what you eat? Eat what you want. You can clearly buy these things. We talked about the naked Doritos, but you can clearly buy them without the dyes.
Sure.
So eat what you want. Why does the government have to tell you that? That's the point.
Eat organic. Eat naked Doritos. Eat non-naked Doritos.
Don't
eat.
Care.
I don't care. Well, don't tell people that. Senator Amy Grady going to join us coming up in just a moment. This is Talkline on Metro News. Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. West Virginians learning over the last 16 hours that winter is not over. A stormy Monday morning had cold temperatures and snow behind it, and some areas of the state have as much as 5 inches or more snow this morning, and there's been a couple of bands of heavy snow already today. 25 county school districts are closed today. Another 18 began their days on a delayed schedule. Montague County Delegate Joe Statler says there was some horse trading in the final days of the 60-day legislative session. Statler wanted the Senate to pass a bill creating $12 million in annual funding for financially struggling EMS units. The Senate wanted the House to pass a school calendar bill that permits counties to go from days of instruction to hours of instruction. Statler says they got it all done.
It's a good win. There was $12 million that was appropriated, will be appropriated for the first time in the state of West Virginia, permanent funding for EMS systems across the state of West Virginia.
You may notice the additional use of AI during your doctor visits. WVU Medicine says the AI program called A Bridge records patient interactions and creates a detailed summary of the visit for the patient's medical records. WVU Medicine Chief Medical Officer Dr. David Rich says the program frees up time for the doctor.
If I have some difficult questions about what to do with the patient, I have more time to focus on those questions than to simply use some other tool to document what I just gathered from the patient.
You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Come on, Liam, let's go. Get open. Come on, go for it. Wake up. Wake up, Liam. Oh, come on, use your head. Gotta want it. Dominate.
There he goes again. Liam's dad yelling from the stands, trying to relive his glory days.
I know. We're just trying to have fun out here and play with our friends. Like, it's not that deep.
He seriously needs to get a grip.
Does he really think he's helping Liam play better?
I feel bad for Liam. I know he's embarrassed his dad ruins every game like this. I mean, I would be too.
Someone needs to tell him this isn't about him.
Yeah, stop trying to coach from the stands and just cheer.
That's what Liam wants.
That's what we all want.
Be your student's biggest fan, not their biggest critic. This message presented by the WVSSAC and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
Day one of the boys' high school basketball tournament's underway this morning at the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center. There'll be 4 single-A games today, 2 double-A games, all on Metro News. Winfield plays Ripley tomorrow night. Winfield junior Ty Lockery, battling cancer this season, will be on the bench. He'll be dressed. His coach is Travis Tarr.
For our basketball team, we have definitely gained strength through his experience. We've gotten tighter because of it, and we understand there's a bigger purpose than just wins and losses.
The Generals have been following the motto, tie strong, all season. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
That is a great story. If you haven't checked it out, go to WVMetroNews.com. Daniel Woods reporting on the young man from Winfield battling cancer, going to be in uniform for his team's game tomorrow night. That's what the state tournament, I mean, it's the stories like that I love so much about last week's tournament and this week's tournament. You get these stories about these kids and they persevere. Anyway, go check it out, WVMetroNews.com. It's going to be a madhouse, I think, at the arena tomorrow night, TJ.
Yeah, great kid, great family. Had a chance to get to know that family a little bit with my nephew playing for Winfield. So great to see him doing better, and I think it'll be packed.
Oh, you got Chapmanville playing in the first game, Logan playing in the second, so nobody's going to be left in Logan County, period. Then you got Ripley versus Winfield. Should be a madhouse over there tomorrow night.
I need
great
to come
atmosphere.
Over. I have my tickets. I need to come over. My kids are sick. Oh. So watch me not be able to go all week.
Well, I heard Dave Allen is not going to come support Logan. That's what I heard. He's, fair weather fan.
Talk about dropping the ball and letting the home team down.
I know. His support may be the thing that pushes them over the edge.
His priorities are all screwed up. I mean, let's just call it what it is.
It is. It's a terrible situation. Amy Grady is the senator from Mason County. She is also the Senate Education Committee chair. She actually, I believe, made a trip over to the House on Saturday night trying to get Rayleigh's Law across the finish line. That and other legislation came through. She joins us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. Senator Grady, good morning.
Good morning, fellas.
Have you been able to take a deep breath, get a little rest now that the session's over?
I think I slept all day Sunday. I was completely worthless, completely useless. All I did was sleep, but I really needed it. So yeah, I've been resting, and I go back to the classroom Thursday. So I'm looking forward to that.
So Rayleigh's Law, let's get into this first of all. And there are a couple other things we want to discuss with you about the session, but Rayleigh's Law has come up over the last several years. It's gotten through the House, been hung up in the Senate, but this year it kind of became the thing. Why did it take on a life of its own late in the session this year?
Prior to this year, when the House has passed it over to us, it's always been in and homeschool law and state code that's homeschool law. And several of our other legislators have been concerned about it being in homeschool law since it is about child welfare. So, I took the lead on the bill to change it to make sure that it was more narrow and put into child welfare code instead of homeschool law to get more people on board. Ironically, the people that said they would get on board if it was in child welfare law changed their mind and ultimately decided not to support it still. So that was bad strategy on my part. I will focus on just getting it through the next time. But it just we have a lot of people that believed in it. It got hung up in Health Committee in the Senate, not for the chairman's fault. He was in support, but committee caucus, many committee members that didn't support that bill were all in the Health Committee, and we couldn't get it out. So, we decided to take matters into our own hands to give it a vote on the floor because we knew the majority of the body wanted it. So, when we did that on Friday night, we ended up having 24 votes for it, including the Senate president. And so, I think that speaks volumes to where everybody stands on it.
Senator, you had a narrative, a back and forth, an exchange. Well, no, I'll call it a post because you didn't have an exchange on social media with Delegate Kathy Hess-Krause. Did you have a deal worked out with her and she changed her mind? Do you know what happened there?
Kathy was one of those delegates, one of those legislators who was concerned about it being in homeschool law. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago that got amended into one of her homeschool bills on the floor. And she came to me and she was concerned about that. And she's a friend of mine. So, I said, I will not run that this year, but let's fix it. If we put it in child welfare reform, would you be okay with that? She said, absolutely. So this year when I worked on that bill, I included Kathy, and she's the one who gave a lot of the suggestions in the language for the bill. She told me that she was in support of it, that she was okay. She was okay with it. Told the health chairman she was okay with it. And then, I don't know what happened. I feel like maybe she started getting a lot of pressure from people in the homeschool community. But I haven't talked to her about that. But some of, and I get it, we see things different ways and different perspectives on that. But I worked hard to try to get something that everybody could agree on, and she was the number one person that I wanted to make sure had a say in it. And it still didn't get through because the same people stood up against it. And that's really frustrating to me because, I did my part on trying to make sure that the people who were concerned about it affecting homeschoolers had a person who was a proponent, a huge proponent of homeschooling to give some language for the bill, and they still fought against it. So, that's frustrating to me because I don't like, you could say one thing and show through your actions another thing, and that's not how we should do things.
Talking to Senator Amy Grady, chair of the Senate Education Committee, Mason County Senator. Critics of the bill say, Amy, that it would not have saved Rayleigh Browning's life, that the real problem is that we have a shortage of CPS workers, overworked CPS, we have a foster care issue, et cetera, et cetera. I think all that is true, but was this ever meant to be a silver bullet to fix all of those problems?
No, absolutely not. And I agree. CPS is an issue, but it's a combination of things. When you have CPS, this bill actually told CPS, you have to do your job within a certain amount of days. So it actually tightened it up, and the expectations of what they were supposed to do was there too. So holding them accountable was also in the bill. But the difference is when you lose sight of a child, even if there's a CPS case open, when you lose sight of a child, that you have no idea what's happening with them. And so I'm not just talking about homeschooling, but also pulling the child and moving them to another school. For instance, in my situation as a classroom teacher, I have had seen students who have been investigated for child abuse and neglect and then pulled their child and moved out of state, and CPS has lost contact with them and can't find them anywhere. And those are the kind of things that we're trying to prevent from happening. Was that bill perfect? No bill is ever perfect. And when you pass something, 90% of the time you go back in to change something about it. But it was a start, and it made a big statement on that we don't want to lose sight of these kids and that they're important to us, and we want to make sure that somebody, a caring adult, has their eyes on them at all times. We're not talking about traditional homeschooling families here. We are talking about people who are using homeschool or transferring of schools as a curtain or a shield to abuse their kids. And those are the people we're going after, not people that homeschool in general.
Quickly, before we move on, will you run it again next year, or sponsor it, I should say?
I am 100% determined to get that bill out in a way that we can get support in both chambers next year, and I will work hard on it. I know Senator Weld and I talked about it. He said he's 100% locked in as well, and so yes, I will run it next year. We will have the votes on the floor regardless. However, we have to get that out. That's my plan.
Senator Amy Grady joining us, Senate Education Committee Chair. There were efforts this session to address the school aid formula, special needs funding. Those did not make it to the finish line. So what needs to happen between now and later, whether that is a special session or next year's 2027 legislative session, to address these issues in public education?
You know, Dave, I feel like a broken record because I feel like we've talked about this every single year after session and before session, you know, that this is a priority or should be a priority. But over time, we talk about it, try to come up with solutions, and then it never makes it into the final budget. You know, having those discussions with people who truly maybe don't understand the need, because we're constantly hearing that if enrollment's going down and that we're still keeping funding from students that's federal funding, what people don't understand is a lot of that federal funding has red tape around it, and there's only certain ways that you can spend that. So there are certain things that school districts need that they can't cover with that money because it has to be spent a certain way. And so trying to educate people on the need for it, you know, I'm not saying because I'm Senate Education Chairwoman, but we had 5 bills that came through Senate Education that we were deliberate on separating out that would help address issues in the school aid formula, none of which made it through the finish line. But I would like to start there with those conversations on those different issues so people will understand the need. And whether we phase in each part of those in the next couple of years or however we do it, I know it's a heavy lift and it's got a lot of funding that needs to be attached to it. But if we do a phase-in model of some kind, we can truly help our school districts in a lot of ways.
You've asked the governor to lead on this issue. Has he responded to you?
I have. I have not talked to him about this issue since probably last session. Last session I did, he and I sat down and had a one-on-one conversation about it, and he wanted to help, and I said, please, this would be great. It needs to come from your office. I think that would be the best possible scenario, and I was willing to work with him and help lead that. Haven't heard anything about it since then, kind of have taken it in my own hands. I'm going to reach out to him again and see if we can set something up. I do want to include the governor and the governor's office on it because I think that's important, but if we have to do it just as a legislature, then that's the step we'll have to take.
Senator Amy Grady joining us, MetroNews Talkline. Looking back, now that you've had a couple of days to sleep, rest, and catch your breath a little bit, was this a successful session, and why?
There are ways that it was successful. However, I probably can tell you in the 6 years I've been a senator, this is my most disappointing session. So, you know, I left out of there Saturday night with a heavy heart and feeling really disappointed. It wasn't just because of Rayleigh's Law, but there were just a lot of things that happened behind the scenes that I was disappointed in. You know, we've got to get everybody rowing in the same direction to move West Virginia forward, and I feel like there are a lot of factions who are working against that. There's a lot of backstabbing in the legislature. Surprise, I'm sure you guys couldn't figure that out. That really has to stop, and something has to change, or we're never going to move in the direction we need to.
Are you hopeful that the voters, in their wisdom, may have something to say in the next election, and perhaps that takes care of some of these factions?
You know, I hope the voters can see people that are trying to do the right thing. You know, when somebody's voting and they're only voting to keep people happy, that's a red flag to me, you know, because we're there to do the right thing by West Virginia and West Virginians and the people in our district. Sometimes that's a hard vote. Doing the right thing isn't always the easy thing. And, you know, I always say if I worry about making somebody mad, then I'm in the wrong business because somebody is always mad at you. You know, so just focusing on what is right and doing what's best. I don't feel like we have the number of people that we should that do that. You know, too many people are worried about different organizations being mad at them or scoring them a different way, you know, on a scorecard of some kind. You just, you know, focusing on what is right and truly being able to lay our heads down at night, knowing that we did the best we could and we did what was right for the people of West Virginia is all I'm worried about.
Senator Amy Grady, Mason County Senator, Senate Education Committee Chair. Always a pleasure. We'll be talking again real soon, I'm sure.
Thank you, fellas. Hey, have a good day.
You as well, Senator Amy Grady. Coming up next, if you're irritated about the weather, we got the guy to blame. This is Talkline from the Cove Insurance Studios.
Golf Week called Pete Dye Golf Club one of America's best modern courses. Golf Digest recently called Pete Dye one of America's 100 greatest courses, and Pete Dye calls it 18 of the most exciting and memorable holes I've ever built on one course. Pete Dye Golf Club invites you to join the only course named after the legendary designer himself. National, corporate, and local memberships available now for a limited time. Visit PeteDye.com to learn more. Come play where the Mountaineers play at Pete Dye Golf Club.
If you have a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, please listen up. Here's your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan College that includes room, board, tuition, and fees. The 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program is presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. The deadline is May 3rd. For details, go to wvmetronews.com to apply. That's wvmetronews.com. Remember, application deadline is May 3rd.
Welcome back, class of 2011. Most likely to be a millionaire, didn't quite make it.
Hey, reunion's not over yet.
Over here, millionaire, smile.
Make room, people.
Who is that?
Congratulations to our very own Millionaire for Life.
Never too late, man.
You could win up to $1 million every year with Millionaire for Life. Play in store or online today. West Virginia Lottery. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. It makes you feel defeated. I'm just going to be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not going to be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
All the sports West Virginia is talking about.
Nikki Izzo-Brown, coach of the nationally ranked WVU women's soccer team.
I think they're just having a very good understanding of each other.
Join Kyle Wiggs, Brett Howe, and Coach Hunter weeknights for Sportsline on MetroNews Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronewstv.com.
On the next State of Minds.
I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. What my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Well, it may not feel like boat weather right now, but it won't be long before it will. Start getting ready for great deals on pontoon and fishing boats at Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Check out the entire inventory at LouWendellMarineSales.com. Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun. No kidding. It doesn't feel like boat weather right now. In fact, it's typical manic March weather. Bryan Hughes, meteorologist, joins us in the Encova Insurance Studios this morning. Bryan, what in the world's going on? Snow? I thought we were past this.
Well, listen, yesterday we started the day off around midnight at about 72 degrees. And we had record snowfall for a day in which you had 72 degrees to start the day. So never in history have we seen something like that.
So what makes it shift so much? What accounts for that?
Well, we had a deepening area of low pressure across the Great Lakes. I mean, it was literally what they call the bomb cyclone, which by the way, it's called bombogenesis. It's rapid pressure drops, but it's a typical term we had since like the 40s or 50s, and then the TV producers in New York got a hold of it and made it a bigger thing than what it actually is. But it was a big thing because it produced blizzard conditions all the way from North South Dakota all the way across the Great Lakes. Here in our neighborhoods, we had the very warm air. We knew we were going to get we knew middle of last week we were going to have rain switching over to snow. But what happened was the cold air really rushed in. Normally the rain and the moisture outlet, they run way ahead of the cold, but that cold air came in quickly. The what you always hear touted about, the European forecast model, it missed it. American forecast model, it missed it. The Japanese, the German, and the UK forecast models also missed it. The ones that got it right was the Canadians.
Well, they should know about snow.
Right. So that Canadian forecast model got it as well as the high-resolution ones. But it overperformed. This entire storm system has overperformed by about 2 to almost 3 inches so far. And we still have the rest of the day to go. And in Flatwoods at the moment, I mean, this is nearly whiteout conditions with a snow squall that's happening right now.
Yeah.
So we've got the snow squalls that'll go off and on throughout the rest of the day. A couple of those will be very, very intense, like the ones that are passing in Flatwoods, Sutton area, in Braxton County. And then you've got some of those that are just going to be just a quick little bite of snow, and mostly it's going to coat the bridges and overpasses. Bridges and overpasses are primarily the problems today. On occasion, you might get the snow that comes down real heavy, real quick. For instance, there in Braxton County, that'll cause a problem on the main roadways just for a short time. But the actual amount of energy or the heat that's been retained within the concrete and the asphalt has helped us out all last night and then also through today for the most part.
So that explains why it's piling up in the yard on the grass, but not
Right.
necessarily the pavement.
Right, because every bit of heat that we had over the last week and a half, that sunshine pelting us all. I know it didn't feel like it was pelting us, but it was. Trying to make sure it's happy sunshine. But that helped to warm the surface, and that's why the grassy surfaces, your car tops, collect all the snow. It looks incredible, but you look at the street and go, oh, I actually can drive on this. Until you get to the bridges and the overpasses.
All right. It is March, so that means it snows, and 2 days later, could all be gone?
Oh, yeah, it's all going to be gone. By tomorrow afternoon, we're going to melt most of it off because it'll be in the mid-40s across much of the region. Mountains are going to hang on to some of this snow for a couple of days. But then as we get into Thursday, Friday, we're looking at temperatures 50s and 60s. And then by the weekend, we're in the upper 60s to low 70s, and it's going to look absolutely beautiful. You're going to love it. I mean, it's going to this is stuff that you're like, wow, who knew that we had inches of snow earlier this week? But this storm here looks like the last hurrah that we've got going on. Now, when I say last hurrah, we're talking big opportunity to have any sort of accumulation. Between now and Easter, usually Easter is about when you can say, okay, most of the snow is done. Except for the mountains, you still might have a occasional light snow shower passing by. And then we obviously look at Mother's Day as the first chance you get to plant, for flowers for the spring and so on and so forth. So frost essentially between Easter and Mother's Day is the issue.
Meteorologist Bryan Hughes, you know what I took away from that, TJ?
Go.
Blame Canada. Brian, appreciate it, buddy.
And if you can sing that song.
I can.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to sing it on the air.
Right, exactly.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Back to wrap up hour number 1 after this.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Cold coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia Legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
The Metro News Capital Report, brought to you by AARP.
Got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on MetroNews Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. Makes you feel defeated. I'm just gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not gonna be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Couple of texts before we wrap up the hour. 304 Talk 304. On the 47-49 vote to bring Rayleigh's Law to the floor, the speaker was yes, the majority leader was a no. There is a divide on the top two's thinking, says the texter. I think Rayleigh's Law was destined to fail on the final night, regardless of the games played in that final hour. There are not as many veteran legislators that withstood the right-to-work opposition, toppling budget cut fights or teacher strikes, and have a young Republican majority in the House that is particularly vulnerable to even the slightest pressure from vocal minorities, like the homeschool lobby. And unfortunately, abused and neglected children don't have lobbyists to fight for them. Now that this legislation has gotten so much attention after day 60, these legislators will hear about it. They're caving to a minority on this issue into the election, but they were not hearing from supporters of Rayleigh's Law going into day 60 with such force as its detractors. I think that's a fair thought. I'm going to talk to Delegate Elliott Pritt. He is in that kind of famous photo now, head down on the desk during the final moments of the legislative session. Supporter of Rayleigh's Law. We'll get his take coming up in the second hour. Also, J.B. Akers is going to be stopping by the studio as well. Jared Halpern will join us. We'll get an update from Washington, D.C. That is all straight ahead. This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. Hoppy Kercheval, 5:55 a.m. How early did you get in that day, by the way?
Probably 3:30.
How long did you do sign-on shift?
I signed on like 7 years.
Not all.
6 days a week for 7 years.
Lightweight.
I know. Couldn't do it now. Now when I wake up at 3:30 is to go to the bathroom. And go back to bed.
Welcome to the 2 o'clock hour, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com on a Wednesday, and I apologize because Stephanie Pauly is our producer, one of the producers of the show, and normally she has everything. We have a thing we call the run sheet, when we have who we're calling and what we're doing and so on. And so, and Stephanie, I don't even know whether you know this, I did the run sheet today, and I put the wrong date on. I put 2025 on it. Because how many of us in modern day actually write the date out anymore? I mean, you did it when you were in school, you did it back when people wrote checks and whatever. This may have been the first day that I have written the date down, and I was responsible for putting together the sheet. And my co-host, the lovely and talented AB, starts the show by saying January 24th, 2025, because she read it directly off the sheet. And it is indeed the year of our Lord, 2026.
Oh, yeah, he did find something out. Something, you're related to Thomas Jefferson?
Well, no, I'm not related to Thomas Jefferson, but I am related to Samuel Kercheval, who was a historian.
I'm going to tell you something about Samuel Kercheval. Him and Jefferson out smoking corn silk. Kercheval told him, Thomas, I don't know about this country. Might want to start again.
He could.
So I don't have a monitor here, so I really can't see what happens at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. So at what point do I pop up? When the music starts and Mr. Announcer comes on?
Yeah.
So they see all the little panic things that I do that I'm still in the process of setting up?
Yes. They see you shuffle about uncomfortably. They see you blow the dust off your headphones. They see you put in like 2 cough drops at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I don't do 2 at the same time. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know that. I should probably. Now, these shows are archived, right? So I can go back and watch them.
Yes.
So I could live this show in real time and then go home and, when I say something to Linda like, hey, did you hear when I did this? And I don't watch it. Well, let's get in front of the TV and watch me do it again for 3 straight hours.
Yes, it's archived just like the audio podcast.
Ah, that's right.
And see, this is the thing that gets the NCAA in trouble, when it goes to court here. Is there a clock or not? Greg, we talk about the clock all the time. Mm-hmm. If he began in 2019, the clock should have run out, whether he's played the 4 years or not. And that's part of the argument, because some guys go right through the clock, right? TJ Finley, we've mentioned many times on this show. 7th team coming up this year. He's playing for Incarnate Word. He's played 7 seasons at 7 different schools. Now, why hasn't his clock started? Why doesn't he have the 5-year clock? So if you're Aguilar, I get it.
He just bouncing him off the ropes. Somebody save this man. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Very nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
Yeah. 10 seconds remaining. There'll be a direct snap here.
Snap back, it's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws, he's got an open man. Pass top 10, 5, end zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable, gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things, and I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard, and if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of MetroNews Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave and TJ coming up. Jared Halpern will get us an update from Washington, D.C., and Kanawha County Delegate J.B. Akers will join us. We'll also get you a quick update on what's happening at the boys basketball state tournament. Action got underway at 9 o'clock this morning. We'll lead up to the 4 championship games on Saturday. Of course, we are your exclusive radio home for the boys basketball state tournament. We've got comprehensive coverage, previews, post-game interviews. Actually, you can watch the post-game press conferences live on the MetroNews Facebook feed. You can see those there. Anyway, we got you all covered at WVMetroNews.com throughout the week. Jake Link is our video producer. Ethan Collins handling the radio side. Your phone number is 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255 if you would like to weigh in. The text line is 304-TALK-304. Morning, once again, Mr. Meadows.
Good morning, sir. It's great to be back.
Last Saturday night, as the debate raged on what to do with Rayleigh's law, Fayette County Delegate Elliott Pritt addressed the House of Delegates, begging his colleagues to pass the bill. He said, quote, "We have an opportunity here tonight to do something to protect children. We've tried this for 4 years. If we amend this bill, change it in any way, this bill dies tonight," which I do think is probably the outcome that some want in this room. I'm pleading with you. I am pleading with you to please reject these amendments as quickly as we can so we can send this bill back to the Senate. Well, he was correct in that prediction. The bill did not make it back in time to get to the Senate. Joining us on MetroNews Talkline this morning is Fayette County Delegate Elliott Pritt. Delegate Pritt, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, gentlemen. Hope you're doing all right on this cold March morning.
I want the 70 degrees to come back. I'm over winter, Elliott, if I can say so.
Mother Nature is a fickle thing. Yeah.
I'm going to guess you've probably seen the photo now. It's been in a couple different publications, but it's you in that final moments in the House of Delegates, head down on the desk while this debate on Rayleigh's law is going on. What was going through your mind at that point?
That's the moment that I realized what the outcome was going to be. The 4 years, that was my 4th session, and I know that this law was debated and discussed even before I entered the legislature. So the idea or the argument that this was rushed or last minute and we didn't have time to vet what was in this bill is incredibly disingenuous. Everyone in that room knew what that bill was. And so I think in that moment, I just realized what was going to happen and the ramifications of that for some kids in our state, what could potentially happen while we have to wait another year to try to do something. And I think that just hit me in that moment. So,
Delegate Burkhammer on the floor Saturday night called the bill an attack on homeschool students. Your response to that?
So I do want to say Adam is a good man, and Adam cares about kids. And the disagreement we have on this issue is not a personal one. I want to make sure everybody understands that. This is not about homeschooling current homeschool students at all. The only time that this bill or that this law would take effect is if a child is in the school system, the public school system, and a mandated reporter has noticed patterns of abuse or the child has said something to them, and that mandated reporter has filed a complaint or a cause of concern with CPS. Then if the parent decides a reaction to that, or the caregiver, whoever it is to immediately file a petition to homeschool, that is the only time that this law would apply. It has nothing to do with current homeschool students at all. And so the idea or the argument that we're attacking homeschooling is totally flawed and incredibly disingenuous.
Delegate Elliott Pritt is joining us here on MetroNews Talkline, Fayette County Delegate. Why do you think, because this bill has come up, it's been debated in the past, it's passed out of the House in previous sessions, but why do you think this time it seemed to take on a life of its own?
Well, I'm not going to conjecture. I'm just going to talk about what I know. There were about 10 of us who had a plan walking into the room that night. We weren't sure when the bill was going to come up. We had hoped it was going to be earlier in the day or earlier in Senate messages. I know for a fact that we had that message by 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. Even though it had not been reported, we were in possession of that message by 9 a.m. Saturday morning. I know that for a personal fact. I just want to make sure that you know that. So we were hoping that it would come to us earlier in the day than it did, and that's why I made my motion to take it up for immediate consideration, because it was becoming glaringly obvious that it was not going to happen in a timely manner. So that's why I made that motion. But there were about 10 of us, give or take one or two, who had plans. We had motions planned. We had gone over the rule books because we knew and had gotten wind that members of the Freedom Caucus were going to filibuster, purposely continue lines of questioning, and Christmas tree the bill with amendments to try to kill it. So we kind of walked in with our own plan to try to stymie some of those efforts, limit debate, move questions, bring it up for immediate consideration to kind of keep them on their toes and try to unbalance any plans that they had.
Do you assess any blame to Speaker Hanshaw for not running the bill earlier in the day?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Speaker Hanshaw is a good man, and I think what everyone needs to realize is that in his position, he has to hold together a coalition of 91 individuals who each have vastly different opinions on a wide-ranging, gamut of topics and political ideas. And I think everyone really loses sight of that a lot of the times. He is the Speaker of the House. He does set policy and the calendar. However, his position is contingent on holding together a majority of members. And I think that may have had something to do with this. I don't want to speak for him. That's up to him whether or not he wants to comment, but he is a good man. I do not blame him for this in any way.
And we were talking to Delegate Elliott Pritt, and I speculated earlier, if this bill comes up, that's at 10 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock in the morning, potentially it throws your entire day off and you get nothing else accomplished because, as you said, there were members who were going to, if the creek didn't rise, they were going to make certain this bill died. It could have thrown the entire day off. So you have to weigh that if you're in leadership.
Exactly. And I think that had to have been calculus, because at the last 2 hours, we did pass a lot of our signature legislation that the Speaker had a lot of vested interest in. And I know that, which is why I waited until EMS funding and a lot of the other important bills were out of the way before I tried to bring the bill up for immediate consideration, because I knew it would have a better chance if a lot of really important policies had already made their way through and we weren't waiting on them. But it is frustrating for me, despite all of that being true. Delegate Burkhammer brought his amendment idea to us like 2 weeks ago. And so we were all aware of his amendment 2 weeks ago to Rayleigh's law, that Delegate Fluharty that we passed out of the House Education Committee. We were aware of his amendment, and most of us were okay with it based on majority conversations that day. So had that bill been ran earlier in the session or in some other form, his amendment probably would have been adopted, and that bill would be sitting on the governor's desk right now.
Given that, Elliott, is that where you should
Mm-hmm.
start next year? Should you work off of the Burkhammer amendment and start a bill next year that more closely aligns with his amendment rather than what originally Rayleigh's law was written to be?
I think that his amendment is a good start. I do think that there are some things that need changed. But like I said, Adam is a good man. I think he was just passionate in that moment and probably misunderstood some of my passion to be an attack on him, which is not the case. But I think his ideas are good. I do think it's a little too constrictive or too restrictive. I think it needs to be more people able to file, any mandated reporter, things like that, or a couple other designees in the county, not just the superintendent. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the contents of his amendment. But like I said, I mean, we were aware of his amendment weeks ago when the bill was first talked about. So, and the Senate spent so much political capital. That group of senators that challenged the ruling of the Senate president to get that put into that bill spent a ton of political capital to make that happen. And that is why there was a group of us that felt like if they're going to do this and they're going to put their stuff on the line, then we need to as well, because kids are that important.
Delegate Elliott Pritt, Fayette County delegate, and was behind this bill, trying to get it to the finish line on Saturday night. Hey, we appreciate the time. Hope you've been able to rest and recuperate a little bit after the 60-day session got wrapped up.
Thanks. I have certainly tried.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you have a good day. Take care.
You as well. I do want to say this, and this has kind of been irritating me, and I'm going to say it. I do not believe. Okay, let me restart that, TJ. I understand the passion for this bill, and I understand that at 11:45, people were tired, tempers were short, things were said. I do not believe, and I reject this narrative that's floating out there, that if you were a critic of this bill or in opposition, you are somehow protecting child abusers. And I think Elliott Pritt brought up a good point. Adam Burkhammer's a good guy. We've interviewed him. I've met him. We know just about everybody. I don't think there's anybody there who's a bad guy. There are some who play fast and loose with the truth. I'll give you that. Nobody's protecting child abusers. So I reject that hyperbolic narrative just as much as I reject the hyperbolic narrative that comes from the right when they say Democrats are protecting child groomers. That's not what's happening here. For whatever reason, they rejected the policy. That's fine. Those things happen. If you're going to beat somebody in an argument, just do it with facts and with good policy. And I think this is good policy. You don't need the hyperbolic speech to accuse people of being child abuser, protecting child abusers. And quite frankly, I think that actually hurts your argument because people get defensive, they dig in, and now they're less likely to help you out down the road. Just beat them with a good argument. And I think you got a pretty good argument that this is just a protection to avoid a bad situation and make certain you hold bad actors accountable.
Politics is personal. We know that. I think we're a little too close to this one on all sides. To your point, here's a hypothesis for you. If we took this law or took this story to Georgia, I'm making up a state, Florida, wherever, anywhere outside of West Virginia, and we got 100 people in a room that have no idea what Rayleigh's law is, and we laid out what the law would do and simply asked them if it was reasonable, I'm betting 90% plus would say, of course.
Sure.
Why would you let a child be taken away from public view when there is suspected abuse? And yes, it is due process. There is due process. That's the other part that bothers me, to say that we're not giving someone due process. Yes, we are. We're giving you an investigation, 7 days. There is due process, and we're putting a time limit on it. But to your point, I think we are too close, because if you had that neutral group of people that weren't so politically vested and hadn't heard all of the narratives, I think the vast majority was, duh, you know?
And go back to last year when this was amended into House Bill 2777 last year. Many of those who were no votes or were speaking against this bill this year voted for it. This provision was in a bill they voted for last year. That includes Anders. That includes Krause, Dillon. They voted for that provision last year and sent it on to the Senate. It was just tied up in a different bill.
Yeah.
That's all.
Is there any merit? One of the one of the bits of feedback that I have heard, and I don't know if I accept it or reject it, so we'll throw it out to your wisdom as well as the listeners. I have heard it uttered that Republicans were never going to give Fluharty a win on this. And that's why Grady ran it. And did that come back into play at some point? I don't know.
Very well. It's politics. That's where the politics gets into it.
Yeah.
And that's the part of this that I will never get used to, and I'll never just accept. If it's a good idea, it's a good idea. I don't care if it comes from the right, left, middle, or Canada. Well, we don't take Canadian ideas. But you get my point. If it's a good idea, it's a good idea. So what if it's Sean Fluharty?
Yeah.
So what? Yeah, he can be loud and boisterous, and you got to slap him every once in a while. I kid because I like him.
Yeah.
But so what? So what if it's his idea? Good policy is good policy. It's that sort of thing that just, it's the same thing when, I'm not going to run your bill because you're supporting my opponent in this election.
Which we saw.
Which absolutely happened this session. That's childish and immature. All right, that's all I got to say about that. Jared Halpern's coming up next.
Coal-based generation remains the backbone of West Virginia's energy portfolio, ensuring reliability, security, and affordable electricity throughout the region. Our coal plants are engineered for performance, designed to run most efficiently at or near a 70% capacity factor. This level of operation is not arbitrary. It's based on sound engineering principles, scientific analysis, and has been formally adopted by the West Virginia legislature as a reasonable target for optimal performance. When our coal fleet operates near that benchmark, it provides stable power to the grid, maintains cost efficiency, and supports thousands of good-paying jobs across our state. Coal generation also drives local tax revenue that sustains schools, infrastructure, and community services. Working in partnership with state leaders and the Trump administration, we're ensuring that our coal fleet remains modern, efficient, and ready to power West Virginia and beyond for decades to come. This message brought to you by the West Virginia Coal Association and Friends of Coal.
Picture a community where every space tells a story. Those are the communities we're designing at ZMM Architects and Engineers. With a blend of creativity and technical expertise, we design spaces that inspire, innovate, and ignite change. From cutting-edge educational facilities to community-centric gathering spaces, we're committed to improving lives through design. Let us help you shape a brighter future for generations to come. Because at ZMM, it's more than architecture. It's about building your legacy.
Looking for a career that truly matters? Healthcare offers stability, great benefits, and careers that are in demand right now. From patient care to technology and support roles, healthcare careers offer flexibility and opportunity. Not sure where you fit? Take the quick healthcare career quiz at explorehealthcareerswv.com. Discover the path that's right for you. Healthcare careers, where passion meets purpose.
You're listening to Talkline on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on MetroNews Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
When I was heavy, being on my feet all day seemed like torture. Makes you feel defeated. I'm just gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But then I thought, I'm done acting like that. I'm not gonna be like that anymore. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 265 pounds. It's always been my goal to have my own place. I want everyone to feel welcome here. I would never have been able to do all these things before without WVU Medicine.
On the next State of Minds.
I came here to Morgantown, the WVU. I wanted to play football. Tried to walk on, but I was humbled very quickly. So I joined the WVU forestry team. what my father taught me was the importance of hard work and the importance of sweat equity.
Joining us, Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern. Let's get an update from Washington, D.C. Jared, we've got the conflict in Iran continuing, obviously. Also, the SAVE Act is getting the president's attention. What has your attention today?
Well, it's going to be a lot with Iran. Yesterday, we heard President Trump say that some countries had already agreed to send warships to the Strait of Hormuz. The president's trying to get more countries to participate in securing that narrow waterway so critical to the flow of the oil trade. But then just a couple moments ago on Truth Social, President Trump says that he's been informed that most NATO allies don't want to get involved. He criticizes those decisions, but then goes on to say that because of the fact we have had such military success, we no longer need or desire the other countries' assistance. We never did. Likewise, Japan, Australia, or South Korea. So it seems like he is resigned to the fact that he is not going to get help with this coalition he's trying to build as part of this Iran war.
Jared, what do we make of this news that Joe Kent is resigning? What can you tell us there?
It's significant. Joe Kent's a significant figure. He is one of the top 5 kind of intelligence officials. He has been a long-time aide and lieutenant to Tulsi Gabbard. And so the idea that you have somebody who leads the counterterrorism center, which is what Joe Kent was doing, essentially saying that he can't serve in this administration because of the Iran war, and says that Iran never posed an imminent threat to the United States, is again going to restart kind of that debate that has been happening about why President Trump ordered this military action when he did. We've not seen a formal response yet from the White House or certainly from Tulsi Gabbard, though we are seeking both. But it is the first administration official and certainly the most high-profile administration official to resign directly as a result of the war in Iran.
Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern joining us back on Capitol Hill. Could President Trump clash with some Senate Republicans over mail-in voting in the SAVE Act?
That's part of what their opposition is. There's some other opposition that Republicans have voiced as it relates to the Save America Act. This is this voting bill that the president has long been trying to get through, but then he's added some other provisions. He calls it the best of Trump bill. It includes a ban on transgender athletes in female sports. It includes a ban on gender-altering surgeries for minors. There's now a lot in there, but I think this is going to be more of an issue for those Republicans who may not be opposed to the bill, and there are some Republicans who are opposed to the bill, but those Republicans who are for the bill but won't change the filibuster rule to get it done. That's going to be the pressure point, I think, that you see President Trump really lean on here when this thing fails to advance probably later this week.
Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern. Jared, appreciate the update. Thank you.
Sure thing.
It's amazing, TJ. You mean President Trump spent, year and a half going after our allies, and now they don't really have an appetite to come help you in a military conflict?
And the markets don't like that. Oil up across the board this morning after that announcement, jumping back up over 100 and almost at 102 a barrel for Brent crude. So
go get you a diesel and put used fryer oil in it. Supposedly that works. Somebody else go try it out first. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah. Well, man, I got to think this through about allies not wanting to help in the Strait of Hormuz because, look, that has global implications, not just U.S. implications. That's disappointing.
J.B. Akers, Kanawha County Delegate, is standing in the corner like he got caught cutting line at lunchtime. Going to join us coming up next. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
West
Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. Ty Strong is taking the court at the state tournament.
The Winfield boys basketball team has had more to play for this season as junior guard Ty Lockery battles Hodgkin's lymphoma. With the Generals reaching the state tournament this week, his jersey won't be a symbol hanging in the locker room anymore because he'll be wearing it on the court. Winfield coach Travis Tarr says Lockery's doctor cleared him to return if they reach the state tournament, and now he'll be in uniform when the Generals play Ripley on Wednesday.
They've pushed his chemo treatment a day, so normally he goes every other Wednesday, and they're pushing it back to Thursday since our game is Wednesday evening so that he can warm up with us and be on the court and maybe have the opportunity to take some court time during the tournament.
That game tips off Wednesday at 9 p.m. You can listen to coverage statewide on the MetroNews Radio Network. I'm Daniel Woods, WVMetroNews.com.
Charleston City Council has approved its budget for the new fiscal year. Mayor Amy Schuler-Goodwin says the budget has certain goals in mind.
We did what we wanted to do, which was give our employees our thanks and our investment, give our infrastructure that so desperately needs it the boost it needed, and certainly remind our citizens why we do what we do, which is municipal government.
Governor Patrick Morrisey says he's pleased the state's new budget takes care of the Hope Scholarship funding. Morrisey talked about the legislative session in a Monday news conference. Read more at WVMetroNews.com. You're listening to Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Around here, sunrise only means one thing. It's time to get to work. Whether you're hauling, herding, baling, or raking, Kubota tractors and hay tools are built to make hay any day, including while the sun shines. Learn more about how Kubota is built to get the job done right at KubotaUSA.com. Go to KubotaUSA.com/disclaimers for full disclaimers.
Who are the toughest men and women in the area? It's the 33rd annual Parsons Ford Tough Man Contest, coming to the Berkeley Rec Center in Martinsburg. Co-sponsored by Miller Lite, Extreme Family Fitness, Coors Light, and Lush Gentlemen's Club. Buy tickets or the pay-per-view at WVToughman.com. That's WVToughman.com. It's the Parsons Ford Tough Man Contest, coming this Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. to the Berkeley Rec Center in Martinsburg.
A new member of the State Natural Resources Commission has already stepped down. The governor's office confirming to Metro News that Weirton attorney Michael Simon won't be on the commission after all, citing time constraints. Point Pleasant area residents have a community meeting set for this evening to discuss the Fidelis Data Center proposal. The meeting announcement says residents and experts will share information about the project, discuss potential impacts, talk about how communities can stay informed and involved as the proposals move forward. The meeting starts at 6 this evening at the Crotal Park Clubhouse. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Is the text line. 800-765-TALK is the phone number. Let me get a couple of texts in, by the way, and we'll get to our next guest. This one came to the bat phone, but it's too good. We were talking about the food dyes. There's a big distinction between eating naked Cheetos and eating Cheetos naked.
Amen.
Says the texter.
Yeah. Yeah, excellent. Point well taken.
Let me see. 304-TALK, 304. Conversation with Senator Grady. One of the best you have had with a legislator. Many of her comments were exactly on point. She isn't afraid to say how she feels, politics aside. Refreshing, proud, she is my senator.
Can I go back to the bat phone text, though, just to make the point? Either way, let's just say either way, I should be able to do that in the comfort of my own home. The government should not be telling me what I can eat or how I should be dressed when I do it, if it's in the comfort of my own home.
My question is, why were you doing it in the conference room? That's my question.
Now, see, that's how rumors get started. That's how rumors get started.
We'll get some more of your texts coming up. 304-TALK, 304. Joining us in studio this morning, Kanawha County Delegate J.B. Akers. Morning, J.B.
Morning, fellas. You went from me getting in trouble for cutting the school lunch line to talking about TJ eating Cheetos naked. So I think I've committed the lesser of the two crimes here today.
We don't dodge the tough questions and topics here, J.B. You should know that.
Yeah.
A lot of things I want to get into with, but I'll ask you the broad question first. Was this a successful 60-day legislative session?
Well, I'll say for me personally, every time I'm in session is a success for me. It's a real privilege to be there, and I enjoy it. Some people were like, as soon as it finishes, they're like, "Aren't you glad it's over?" I will tell you guys, I really enjoy it. I think I'm a positive person by nature, and I like the energy and the vibe of the session. I really enjoy being in the Capitol. I like being around all those people. I love talking about policy. I'm not trying to sound cliche when I say that, but I really do enjoy it. So for me personally, it was successful. I'm not going to say there weren't some disappointments. There were, and we can get to some of that later. But on the House side, I'm in the House of Delegates. I thought we had a great year. Again, we finished on a sour note, which you guys have been, talking about that, and we can discuss that here as well. But on the House side, we had a jobs first agenda. We had, 15 or so bills that were on that agenda, and I've got a list of them right in front of me. We passed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those jobs first bills. So 9 out of that's more than half. So I would consider the House agenda this year to have been successful. And I'll say that on the House side, we got along great this year. We had a very unified approach. You didn't see, I think you guys would maybe to some extent say the House session was a little bit, I'll put this in air quotes, boring this year. Weren't a lot of crazy floor fights. You didn't see a bunch of craziness out of our side. I'm not saying the Senate did. I'm just speaking to the body that I was in. Until that, last hour with that Rayleigh's Law debate we had, which again we can discuss. But I thought it was great, and I thought we did a nice job pushing our agenda across this year.
Aerospace bill, hangar bill did not get through.
Those are bummers.
Talk about what those would do and your thoughts on why they didn't get through.
Yeah, so aviation is one of the fastest growing segments in the American economy, and it's one of people, I don't think they realize this, it's one of the fastest growing segments in the West Virginia economy on the aviation aerospace side. And I do a lot of economic development work in the off season in the House. During session, I'm House Judiciary Chair, so that's a different role I got to play. But in the off season, I spend a heck of a lot of my time on economic development. And aviation is a place where we have a lot of really good opportunities. So I was really bummed out to see that the Hangar Fund and the Aerospace Manufacturing Growth Acts did make it across. The Hangar Fund bill was on third reading in the Senate on the last night, and I thought it was going to pass, and it didn't. We have a couple really good opportunities for some hangars. I think you're going to see, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, a positive announcement on hangars in the near future. Let's just keep an eye out for that. But those are long-term, sustainable, really high-paying jobs.
And you look at what Marshall's doing with its aviation school, with the aviation program at Fairmont State up there with North Central Airport. There are jobs here. There are good-paying jobs, and there are future jobs in that industry. It makes sense to me to really pursue that as an economic development plan.
It is, and I'll tell you, when you talk to some of these companies, this is kind of a niche argument, or not argument, but niche issue, but you can't get a wide-body aircraft painted in the United States right now in less than 3 years, if you're lucky. These companies are literally flying their aircraft overseas to get them painted. So that's one area with this. You look at this Hangar Fund Bill 4010, that was one of the things that was meant to address, was to potentially get some wide-body hangars in the state so we can start doing some aircraft painting, which, again, those are generational jobs and really high paying.
What got hung up on that bill then? Do you have any idea why the Senate didn't pass it, didn't like it?
No. That was actually, we had some agreed upon language with the governor's office and we sent it over, and I really don't know what happened to the Senate side. I heard someone the Senate side told me there was just a mistake. It didn't make it through. I can't tell you that for sure. I haven't talked to a bunch of senators about it, but that was a little surprise to me. I thought that was going to make it through in the last night.
J.B. Akers is joining us, Kanawha County Delegate. I did a good, bad, and ugly yesterday. I thought the good was that the House came into the plan, you stuck to the plan, and got the bulk of it through during this session. But what was disappointing in the session for you?
We can go through a couple different things. I would say we had a couple energy bills that I would have liked to have seen passed. They didn't. We kept seeing the insertion of, and listen, I'm friends with, lots of people on the Senate side, but the continual insertion of Senate Bill 420 into the House energy bills, we knew that wasn't going to pass. That was just a no-go on our side. So I think we kind of missed the ball on some of those energy bills. Those would have been helpful. That was disappointing. And then, again, I hate to keep bringing this up. You've had multiple guests talk about it, including Delegate Pritt right before me and Senator Grady right before that. That Rayleigh's Law debate at the end was disappointing, obviously. I'm one who, I don't care if you're going to vote red or green on that thing. Vote whichever way you're going to vote. I would have voted green. I'm not afraid to say it. I'll publicly say it. Every vote that we had that night that was designed to advance that bill and get it to a vote, I was voting green the whole way. If someone else wanted to vote red, that's fine, but I think we just should have voted on that bill. So that was a disappointment. And again, that was just so out of character for the rest of the session for our caucus. We really did get along really well. So that just kind of left a sour taste in our mouths. I will say this, for people who claim that we didn't get anything done on that last day and we just were slow walking everything, I've got a sheet in front of me. The notorious Ann Eli, who's our House Communications Director, if she's listening, she did this for me. We completed action on 84 bills on the House side on Saturday. Now, we had a few recesses here, and we did do some farewell speeches, which we always allow people to do that. As a committee chair, I didn't get to thank and introduce my committee that night because I felt like it would have wasted too much time. I feel bad about that. That's normally something we do as well. But we took action on 84 bills on Saturday. We did have some recesses, but some of those are necessary for strategic reasons. We've got to talk to the Senate and see what's going on over there. So that wasn't just taking breaks. That's part of what we have to do. So we did a lot of work on Saturday, and I will say this as well. When we get to the very end of Saturday, the EMS bill, which to me was critical, permanent EMS funding, that didn't pass until 10:31 p.m. Portable benefits, which I think is critical for independent contractors in this state, very, very important bill for them that helps working class folks. 10:54 p.m. The governor's energy bill, extremely important bill, 11:06 p.m. The recharge, which is an upskilling bill, which again is very critical for our workforce in West Virginia, 11:09 p.m. Mm-hmm. So when you ask why Rayleigh's Law, which we did have possession of it, I totally agree with the earlier comments by Senator Grady and Delegate Pritt. We had that bill in our possession all day. Strategically, if it had been run earlier, would it have gotten voted on early in the day, or would it have eaten up a ton of our schedule? I can't answer that in hindsight. Who knows? I do, and I have not asked the speaker this question personally, and if I did, I wouldn't talk about it publicly anyway. But my guess is, strategically, with knowing what was still out there, there was a fear that we would have lost a lot of other good bills. And that doesn't mean Rayleigh's Law is not important. It is. Symbolically, it's a very important bill, and practically for any child affected by it, it's extremely important. But like the EMS bill, and again, you got to be careful how you say this, but that EMS funding bill, you can say that affects more West Virginians more broadly overall, and that's a piece of legislation you don't want to lose the last hour.
I think the thing that really bothered folks, or I'll say bothered me, I listened to the filibuster.
Yeah.
Now, would your bill do, and it's just, the questions are so asinine. A 4-year-old knew the answer to the questions. Should we look at our rules and figure out, does there need to be some meat to the filibuster? It put such a negative connotation on the session, to your point. It was a bad way to cap it. And it was a really bad filibuster. I'm just going to tell you, it made no sense, and it just looked really bad.
I think people hate that type of politics. Personally, I do not like it myself. To me, again, I'm like, let's just vote on it, up or down. Vote red or green. I'm much less bothered by a vote I disagree with and not getting the chance to vote at all. And one delegate who I really like a lot asked me a question, or at least tried to ask me a series of questions during that filibuster process on another bill. And I was clearly not happy to be used in that way. Mm-hmm. And those questions ended pretty quickly. So I didn't want to be part of that process. I just wanted to vote on the bill. That was the right thing to do. And so I agree with you. That part of it looked bad. And I think I don't blame anyone who's critical of what they saw in that part of the process. Again, let's just vote on the thing.
If I may be Switzerland for just a moment, you're both right, but one day you may need that. It may look bad in this instant, but sure, one day you may need that to stop bad legislation.
I'm not against the filibuster. Yeah. Look, used appropriately, it's a tool that can be, and listen, the Democrats in the House are the ones who should want the filibuster right now, if anybody does. But, I do think that it has a place so I'm not advocating getting rid of it, but I do think, especially when you're in the supermajority, we should be allowing votes. That's just my view. I think we should be allowing votes.
J.B. Akers joining us in studio this morning, Kanawha County Delegate. Anything specifically that you sponsored this year that you were disappointed didn't get through, or you were very pleased that did get through?
Let's stick with positive stuff. I have a few things that didn't get through that I would have liked to have seen finished, but the thing that, personally for me as a lead sponsor that I was the most excited about is House Bill 5684, which establishes a new Child Protection Commission in the state of West Virginia. It didn't get really much play during the session, no media attention. I wish it would have, although I didn't go around asking.
That media,
yeah,
TJ,
you guys.
This is awful, that media.
I never asked anyone to report on it, so I'll say that. But that's a bill that will, and it's modeled after what they did in Texas, which has been extremely successful. The abuse and neglect system, we all know, is it's in shambles right now. And the kids' cases are not getting the appropriate attention that they need. So what this does, it establishes a pilot program. The Supreme Court was great to work on this with us. It passed unanimously in the House and Senate both. Thank you to everyone who voted on it. And it establishes commissioners who 5 days a week that will only handle abuse and neglect cases versus circuit judges trying to get these things done one day at a time in their docket, which they just can't accomplish it. They have too many of these cases. So Texas has done this model. We're going to pilot it in West Virginia. I am sure it's going to be successful, as sure as I can be. And the primary thing is making sure, and we're talking about Raley's Law, please don't anyone think that we didn't run child protection bills this year. We did. That last one, again, left a sour taste in our mouth. But this child protection bill, it is, I'm patting myself in the back a little bit, but it is an extremely significant change to our abuse and neglect system. It's designed to provide better outcomes for children. So that one is one that I'm very, very happy we got across. I've been trying to get something like that done for years.
We got $8 million for special education. They need a lot more. School aid formula still needs revision. Is it special session? Is it an interim group for next regular session so it could fold into the budget? How does that need to unfold?
I think there's a lot of things you can say we need to fund. The question is, where you get the money from. What do you potentially not fund if you give money to somebody else? I mean, we had a lot of infrastructure spending this year. Of course, we had a controversial bill that someone tried to discharge on clean water, and then anyone who didn't vote for that discharge, which we never do, is called anti-clean water, even though we funded clean water more than almost 8 times the amount that was contained within that one bill. But there can be more. We should always fund infrastructure as much as possible. So there's lots of things we need to fund and fund more. Whether we wait till next year, special session, I don't know. I would personally like to see a special session on energy and the economy for some of the bills that just barely did make it across. I think we have some energy and economic development bills that we really should get passed this year and not wait till next year.
J.B. Akers, Kanawha County Delegate, joining us in studio this morning because he was available.
That's right. Thanks for the thanks for the compliment on that, man.
No, I kid because I care. Hey, no, appreciate you stopping by, and we've got another 10 months to go, 11, 9.5, whatever. We'll have you back.
I'm right down the street, fellas, anytime.
Just as long as you're available.
I'm always available.
Hey, JB, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
We'll get to your text coming up next.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
At Glenville State University, we are pioneers. With over 45 undergraduate degree programs, 17 NCAA athletic teams, and countless campus organizations and activities, we're here to help you build your story while becoming a part of ours. Glenville State University, your dream, your future, your story. Visit glenville.edu today for more information.
Tens of thousands of hardworking West Virginians earn their living in our state's growing natural gas industry, including thousands for Antero Resources, West Virginia's top natural gas producer. Antero's investments are boosting our local workforce and small businesses. We're proud to give back and invest locally to support West Virginia workers producing West Virginia energy. But the Mountain State's best days are ahead, and Antero Resources is just getting started. Visit AnteroResources.com to learn more.
Worried about paying for college? MetroNews is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to WVMetroNews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Metro News Midday gives you the news of the day as it's happening.
Yeah, I was going to say we'd get something more important, but probably not. Honestly, no. We're just doing whatever. We're probably spitballing not.
That. Join Dave Allen weekdays for Midday on Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at WVMetroNewsTV.com.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
With Metro News Hotline. If it's trending, it's probably here.
So it's Dennis, it's Rodman degrees out there today.
Oh, that sounds really uncomfortable.
I know it does. I know it does.
Is that legal? Is that past FCC? I don't know if you're allowed to say anything's Rodman something. That's
it's Rodman degrees.
That's like saying it's awful Diddy out there. I don't know that we can do that.
Yeah. Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Experience Keno in a new way with Dragon Keno Blast. This $10 scratch-off is available in-store and online with iPlay, the official West Virginia Lottery app. Play Dragon Keno Blast today for your chance to win. No matter where you play, the Dragon slays. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. By the way, final over at the Charleston Coliseum, Class Single A quarterfinals in a good one. Tucker County defeats Huntington St. Joe 59-57 to advance. We'll have post-game coverage at WVMetroNews.com. And, of course, Metro News is your exclusive radio home for the entire boys basketball tournament. All 4 championship games on the Metro News TV app this weekend. 304 Talk 304. Lots of senators and or delegates saying something like, I haven't talked to so-and-so since ... Like we are to believe they don't know what their colleagues think about the going on in the session. Well, I mean, yeah. Am I going to call them a liar? I mean, they hadn't talked to somebody.
Well, look, it's not their place to tell us what somebody else thinks either. I respect that part of it. Let somebody else do the talking for themselves, and that's fair. It's not unfair.
304 Talk 304. If Republicans did not want to give Flew a win, talking about Delegate Fluharty, they were stupid. He got more of a win with this failure. You could make an argument, politically speaking. I don't think Sean, I've known Sean for a while. I don't think he would take a political win versus getting Rayleigh's Law to the finish line. I don't think that at all, but you can make that argument.
I think this one is passion for him.
Absolutely.
It's not politics. There's other hay that he can make politics on. So if Sean Fluharty were here and they said, hey, take your name off of it, we'll pass it, he'd take his name off of it. Period.
Dave and TJ, it seems to me this bill to protect children through well-meaning is more for law enforcement to deal with parents/custodians. As an example, if a family is in a domestic situation that could get worse for the child, and if a parent showed up at the school to remove the child for whatever reason, and it gets aggressive, then the police have to be called anyway. I don't think we want this argument playing out at a school, says the texter.
Here's some flawed thinking with that, though. If you file the report from a mandatory reporter after the parent has already showed up to pull the kid out, it's moot. You have to do it before the parent shows up to pull the kid out.
I got to read this one.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's not about you want me to read the Marshmallow?
No, I don't know. Not really.
Oh, okay. I'll move on. Too many of the Republicans are truly Democrats who could not get elected as a Democrat. That's a problem. Too many TJs in a world of Daves, says the texter.
I don't know how to take that.
I'm not sure either. Texter says, sun is out right now. Does that mean we'll get some more snow later today? Ask Bryan Hughes. I have no idea.
I stepped out to get some coffee.
Yeah.
Looked out the window during the break. It is melted. Big time.
Good. It's March. manic March weather. Back to wrap it up in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios.
Getting ghosted is never fun, especially by your network. Cyber threats don't announce themselves. They slip in quietly, disrupt operations, and disappear before you know what happened. CityNet's cybersecurity services provide proactive monitoring, threat detection, and expert response, so your business stays connected and protected. Commit to a relationship built on trust and reliability. Learn more at citynet.net today. And remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
The WVU Medicine Medical and Surgical Weight Loss Center offers a comprehensive surgical program to help you obtain a healthy weight and improve your quality of life. Our nationally recognized bariatrics program has a strong focus on pre-surgery education and long-term weight loss after surgery. We're here to help you every step of the way. Reserve your spot at the next free, no-obligation information session by calling 304-293-1728.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Kanawha GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Kanawha GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Download MetroNews Television on your iPhone or Android. Search MetroNews Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
It all comes down to this in Charleston. The 2026 West Virginia Boys High School Basketball State Championships presented by Chick-fil-A. Saturday, March 21st. Every possession, every roar of the crowd, every championship moment. Live on Metro News Television, powered by GoMart. Watch on mobile, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, LG TV, and select Samsung Smart TVs. Details at WVMetroNewsTV.com to get in the action.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
All right. I'm giving in to peer pressure here. Where did the text go? I lost the text. Where did it go?
Pity.
That's a shame.
Pity.
That is a shame. See, if you text too many times, I lose the good ones, and now I can't tell you what that text was. Oh, here it is. I found it. Don't worry. All right. You're sure about this?
I don't care, man.
Probably one of your buddies.
Whatever.
Texter wants to know, is it true that TJ runs across his lawn naked on the weekends with a marshmallow clenched between his cheeks? If it falls out, his golf buddies make him eat it, asks the texter. It's probably one of your friends. That sounds like something your buddies would text into your show.
Sounds like someone's got too much time on their hands.
Just avoid TJ's house on the weekends. That's all I'm saying. With that, we will conclude our broadcast day. Metro News Midday is coming up on the other side of many of these same Metro News radio stations. Of course, we have exclusive coverage of the boys high school basketball tournament at wvmetronews.com. We'll see you tomorrow. Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.